Hello, everyone. My name is Yelena. I'm going to be your Cognos Analytics Administrator, and I'm also the faculty at the Data Analytics program. The purpose of today's session is to help you get started with Cognos Analytics. So I'm going to show you how to access the environment, how to get started. We're going to talk about the interface. We're going to talk about the data sets, data module, data preparation in Cognos Analytics, data exploration, and uh, uh, and more, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, what is Cognos Analytics? You may have heard this terminology before. It's a self-service, it's a web self-service, it has an intuitive interface. So basically, the data was uploaded, and as it was uploaded, it extracts useful insights from the data. And you can do the data exploration without writing any code. So you just drag and drop the columns that you want to explore on a canvas, and the system just recommends it. Just gives you the insights, right? Also, it allows you to build interactive dashboards and stories. We're going to look at dashboard and stories in the next session. Then you can you can view data that is being visualized. And reporting is not covered in this course, but in general, you can do that. All right, so now this is important. So you're going to be logging into the VGA, which is a remote environment. You make sure that you avoid using the browser back button because you may end up losing the work. If you delete something, it cannot be undone, right? Unlike in your computer, if you delete something, it goes to recycle bin. There is no recycle bin. Then when you delete the data file by accident, the visualizations that you use to build from the data are going to be invalid. Then note that it's a remote PC, right? You cannot copy and paste the text directly. I'll show you what you need to do. Then remember, you want to save your work and always start the assignment early. So now we're going to start. I'm going to show you how to access the next, right? So what you're going to do is you will type this web page in the browser, right? You will put this site, and I already have it open, right? So this is a single sign-on, right? So basically, if you're logged into your student email in another tab, or if you're logged into the classroom in another tab, you're good. It will take you straight. Otherwise, it's going to ask you for your username and password. This is going to be the same username and password that you log into Leo, okay? To the learning environment. Now, this is Cognos Analytics that we're going to use. What you have to do is you're going to click on that and then click on Open. That will launch the login page. It opens up on a remote PC. It starts Google Chrome. This is not Google Chrome on your PC. That's a remote, right? It starts in Google Chrome, and you're going to get to the login page. That looks like this. Okay. Well, now your user ID is your university username. And how do you know your university username? You have your student email, right, that ends with student.umgc.edu, right? This is student, right? You have this email. Hopefully you know what your email is because you're using it to log into your learning environment, right? So you have this email, but the first portion of that email is a student, it's a university username, right? So for example, if you have an email, msmith@student.umgc.edu, msmith is your username. Password, this password is for everybody, welcome. So how did I get this password? Well, first of all, it has to have an uppercase letter, right? So I took the word welcome and I put the first letter capitalized, I put exclamation point at the end. And because the password needs to have at least one number, I said, okay, the number 3 on the keyboard is above letter E. So I'm going to go ahead and change letter E to number 3. So this is the password, welcome. So I'm going to log in right now, but instead of using my admin username, I have a separate user that I use for this demo. It's a separate user that I use for this demo. That's what I'm going to use right now. Okay. Now, password is case sensitive. Remember this, okay? Now I'm gonna do sign in. All right. After this session, all your accounts have been created. So after this, please try accessing your account. Okay. Make sure that you see this. And then when you click on team content, make sure that you see something here. I'll explain it to you. But make sure that you see that. If you don't, you're gonna submit the ticket. Okay. Now, what do I see this here? This section is called the canvas. It's in the middle, right? And what you see here depends on what you currently have open, all right? This is my content. Those are the files that are visible to you, all right? It's your area. Nobody else can modify, nobody else can see anything that's in there. Team content, it's a shared content. In this specific case, you have this get started, samples, templates, calendars. These folders were pre-installed with Cognos Analytics. And this folder is what I set up for you. Okay, this is going to be the data for your assignments. So basically, let's look what's in there. This is in, again, it's in team content. This is a folder. You're gonna click on it. I created a subfolder for each assignment. All right, so first, your first assignment is getting started and your data is here, okay? Now, this is assignment 2 data. It's here. Assignment 2 is due week after next week. Assignments 3 and 4, you're gonna use the same data set and you pick one of these, okay? Assignment 4 is a continuation of 3, so you're gonna pick this and etc. I made it easier just by creating a separate folder for each assignment. If you want to follow along when you watch the recording of this walkthrough, this data is in here. Claims and weather, that's the data that I'm using, all right? What else is in here? Well, here, if you have a lot of files, right, that's gonna be the case. We've been working for a while. You can type your search, right? You can search for your files and it's gonna find the results that match the search, all right? That's what it is here. So you've got my content and also you can filter, right? If you have a lot of files, you can decide what you want to see. You want to see just data or you want to see just the folders or you want to see just the dashboard, etc., right? And also you can see what was modified. Like for example, I just did something, I don't remember what I saved it. I can say modify today, right? And it's gonna show me what I did today. Here, this folder is what I accessed recently, right? And also, what I accessed recently is going to show up in this canvas area, right? It's going to show what I accessed recently, and we're going to get to it, right? And this is a new menu. It's one way to create dashboards, exploration, data module. That's one way you can do it from here. Now, let's go back. So I showed you how to access. This is, if you look at this, there is a toolbar at the top. It's a slide out toolbar. And well, you cannot copy paste text directly, but you can use this clipboard. So to copy and paste text from your PC, you would have to copy it to this clipboard first, and then you would have to take it from clipboard and paste it where you need it to be. Okay? Well, you're not going to be uploading files. For this, all data has been uploaded, but to do that, I use this one. I use this button, upload. Okay. Now, another thing is here. So far, so good. So here, I just showed you the navigation, right? When you have recently accessed pages and etc. And also, this thing is a drop-down menu. When you have files open, you can navigate through them here, through open files. You're not gonna use back and forward browser button. You're gonna use it here. Okay, you're gonna use, and then also home, right? This takes you to this home page. Okay, now we went over this. How do you, as this one I showed you where your assignment data is, it's in the team content, right? Then you see this folder data for data 16 assignments. That's where it is. If you do not see this, submit a case. It's a no-brainer, easy fix, okay? All right, here is the data that we're gonna use for today's demo. It stores the customer information, including the country, the state, right? And then it also stores the vehicle that the person drives, right? It stores the insurance coverage that the person has, and also person's education and etc., right? But the goal of this data is to predict what's going to be the total claim amount based on the accident type and vehicle type and etc. Now, take a look at this data. You have this blanks. See this? Some of the values are missing. Do you see these blanks? I'm just showing you this intentionally. So the data has some of the missing values, right? Now, for your assignment, here are some options here. For the very first assignment that you have due next week, but I recommend doing it as soon as possible. You're just working simply with data, right? You're not dealing with missing values. But what you will do is this. For the very first one, you're gonna go here, getting started. You're gonna go here. Then you're gonna do this copy or move, right? And then you're gonna copy it to your folder, right? You're gonna copy it to my content. This is what you're gonna do. Now, not move to, but copy to, all right? This is what you're gonna do for the first one. And also, for the first assignment, you're gonna be working from the raw data. You're not creating the data module, you're just working from the data as is, only for the first assignment, okay? But then starting from assignment 2, you have to create a data module, and I'll explain to you what it is. Now, this is the filtering panel. You can close it. Now, let's come back. So this is the data that we use for this discussion. And we're going to create a data module. But why do we create a data module? Well, because data set, right, if just the CSV or Excel file that was straight uploaded, you cannot customize the data. You cannot define any filters on it. You cannot add the calculations to it. Well, when you create a data exploration, you can add calculation, but the work is not going to be reusable. When you create another data exploration workbook, you would have to do this again, right? So what we want to do is we want to create a data module that we can customize. We're going to add the calculation, navigation paths. You can hide, remove certain fields. You can add the calculated columns and etc. Right? You can add the data groups, binning, and then it's reusable everywhere where you use the data as a source, right? Then you may preview data directly, or also in general, we're not doing it in this class, but you may combine multiple data sources, all right? Well, and what does they have in common? They can be used as a data source for explorations and for the stories, right? And you can save them on the my content, well, team content only if you have access. In this case, at the moment, you don't, right? So, and this, you need to remember this. If the data is deleted, everything that where the data is used is going to be invalid. You cannot delete both. Well, if you delete data module or data set or both, everywhere where you use it as a source will become invalid and there is no way to restore, okay? Now what we'll do, we're gonna create a data module. To create a data module, what you do is, one way to do that is this. You click on the data that you want to use and you're just gonna do create a data module right here, easy. Now this is our data module. Let's see what's happening. Here are the columns in the data. And notice that you have a different symbol next to each column. This indicates the data type of the column. Actually, this here, it's a location, right? And then you've got a customer, which is a text, and you've got some of the numeric columns and etc. Right? So this is a text, claim, reason. This is a number of policies. So this is a numeric, and etc. Right? So this icon indicates the data type. This one here is a grayed out because that column is hidden. When you use this data as a source for the exploration, the user does not see this column. It appears only in the data module, and it can be used as part of the calculations, but the user will not physically see it. It's hidden. Okay? Now, and to hide the column, what you would need to do is see that, for example, here is a customer. To hide the customer, you would need to do this. See this? This is a hide from users. And then when you want to unhide it, you're gonna click here and you're gonna do show to users. This is to unhide, okay? Also, so how did you see this data? You would have to click on here. And this, it shows the data grid. This data, you have a column names in here, and you have the actual data. Now, do you remember when I showed you the data, you had some values missing? Missing value is represented as null in here. Okay, missing value is represented as null. What else do you see here? As you're making changes, you have this button, undo, redo, right? So you can redo several changes. This is different from deletion, right? Now, next thing here, by default, it's calling it new data module, and a little asterisk, it means that it did not save the latest change. So what I'll do now, I'm gonna save this. And where am I gonna save it? I want to save it in the my content, right? And I want to call it claims and weather data module. And weather data module. All right, save. One thing that I forgot to tell you is this. We're gonna have a lot of stuff to cover tonight, but trust me, you will need to watch this recording more than once. You will have the recording of this session and you have to watch it more than once because it's a lot of stuff. Now here, what I showed you so far, this is the columns, right? The column data type shows different icon. I showed you how to hide the column, and you can also look at the column properties, like for example, income, right? I click here and I can do this. I can do the properties. And in here, it says that this column is a measure. What this does is that it tells that how the column is summarized. Like for example, if I want to look at income by state, at the moment, the way this is set up, it's gonna do the total. It's gonna do the sum of all incomes by the state, but probably I want to look at the average, right? If I look at the income by state, I want to look at the average and I can change it here, okay? There is no lookup reference, all right? So now, another thing is that if I click on advanced, well, it says that scissors support null values, well, it means that somewhere in the column there are missing values. If there are missing values, you're gonna see this support null values and a checkbox checked in. Okay, this is a source where the column was read from. Then here comments is, for instance, the explanation. You can write the column description, and screen tip is what you will see when you put the cursor over the column. Okay, so well, this is just the properties. Let's see. We went over this. We went over this slide. Then, well, we talked about the interface, right? And here I showed you the properties. And well, expression, this is just basically, in this case, expression is just the column itself, but we're gonna modify it for income column later. We're gonna modify the expression for income column later because there are missing values. Okay, now, next thing. Okay, data preparation. What is data preparation? Sometimes you want to hide certain columns from the view. You may change some of the column properties, like I just did. I just showed you, I changed one of the properties. You can handle the missing values, right? But how do you handle the missing values? You can filter rows that have missing values. You can impute the missing values, right? I can estimate, for example, you can take the column average, right? You can also set the predefined value for categorical columns. For example, if oxygen type is not specified, you can set it to unknown, right? Which that's what it means. Treat missing values as a separate category, right? And if most of the values in a column are missing, you may decide to hide the column altogether. Then another part of it is handling outliers, extremely large values, adding calculation, adding data groups, and the hierarchies. That's what data preparation is, right? So what we're gonna look at, I showed you how to hide the column, right? This is easy. The column will not be visible in the exploration, okay? So basically you don't want the user to see the column, but you don't want to delete the column because it's used somewhere else, right? So you can hide it. Now we're going to talk about the filters. So what is a filter? The filter specifies the condition, right, that needs to be met to retrieve the specific row. We have to create an expression, the calculation expression, in order to define the filter. And the filters can be defined at the table level, right, which is conditions specified on multiple columns or on a single column. There are two. You can define more than one filters, but there are two types of filters. Embedded filter is a filter that is applied immediately, and I'll show you. It's applied immediately. Selectable filter, you define it in the data module, but you can apply it as needed to your visualizations, all right? Well, selectable, well, it's not gonna be effective immediately. You can turn it on and off, embedded, applied right away. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to define the embedded filter to filter out the rows that don't have the effective date, right? Yes. Yes, so effective to date. So we're gonna now filter the rows that do not have the effective to date. So let's do that. Well, I'm gonna go in here, right? So this is my data set. I'm gonna do, well, scissors, I'm gonna do the filter. Now, depending where you select it, right, where you select the filter, it could determine the scope, but no, that's not what I want. Oh, okay, so here it is, claims and weather, that's correct. I'm gonna go filters, I click on filters. Then I'm gonna do, instead of select the column, instead of selecting specific column, I want to use the expression editor in this case, okay? I want to use the expression editor here. Now I'm gonna click on add a filter. Add a filter, it opens up the expression editor. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to say, I'm going to say this, what is it? Effective to date, well, has effective to date, right? To date. Well, wait a minute. Oh yeah, am I adding the, yes, I'm adding the embedded filter. Now, how do I do that? The idea is effective to date is not missing. So what I can do, these are the fields. I can drag and drop this here. Effective to date, right? Now what we can do, you can go to the expression and operators and you scroll down. Okay, or if you can also search to look for it. I want to do something like this, is not missing, okay? Now what you need to do is you need to check the syntax if it's correct. This will validate the expression, make sure there are no syntax errors, okay? Now what I need to do, I need to save it. To save it, I'm gonna click okay and let's see what's gonna happen. Remember, I had some missing values, right? I had some missing values in the effective date. And right now, I do not have any missing values because all rows that had missing values were filtered. Basically, what I did was I created the embedded filter. Embedded filter immediately applies the change to the rows, right? Immediately it did it. But you want to make sure that the filter name is descriptive, right? Then suppose that if you want to change the filter condition, you just click here, view or edit, and you can do, oops, cancel. You can also modify this filter if you want to, okay? You can modify this filter. View or edit. Oh, this is gonna be the date. And you can also define the range if you want, okay? Now, what I did was I created the filter wire expression editor, right? And I said that that I want to make sure that effective date is not missing. And if the row is missing effective date, then it's gonna be eliminated, right? Oh, okay. Well, this is what I did. I selected this one. It's very important which one you select, okay? Very important. Now, or I should call it has effective to date, okay? So I use this here. I just said that wire expression editor, then I clicked on add a filter and I typed this effective to date is not missing. That's what I did, okay? Now, next thing what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create a selectable filter. And to create a selectable filter, well, selectable filter is basically something you can turn on and off. And suppose that I want to look at personal coverage. The policy type is personal, and the car is small. Vehicle size contains small. Here is my expression. Okay, and it has a syntax error intentionally. I'll show you. But wait, let's select this expression, and I want to copy and paste, right? I selected this, right? Now what I'm gonna do? Well, I'm gonna go here and I want to add another filter, right? But right now, instead of doing that, I'm going to do this. I'm going to select this filter. It's gonna be selectable filter. Here is an expression, but wait a minute. I want to copy and paste. I cannot do it, right? What I have to do is I have to go here. This is a clipboard. I'm gonna paste it to the clipboard. Then I'm gonna be pasting it here, okay? Well, there are two steps. Now, I'm gonna get an error. Why am I gonna get an error? Because I have this quote. Well, do you see this? This is a Microsoft quote. This is not the text editor quote. So see, when I do that, it's gonna give me an error. See, so I have to change that, and then it's gonna be working here. Expression. Oh, because I have to put the regular quote. I forgot to put the regular quote. Now it should be good, right? Yes. Well, now expression is valid. But what I did was I said this policy type operators contains personal and the vehicle size contains small. Okay. Now what we can do, I'm gonna click on, oh, I have to give a descriptive name, right? Because what is this filter name? Nobody knows, right? So I'm gonna say this is what I'm calling it here. I'm gonna say this personal coverage for small car. Personal coverage for small car. It's very important to use descriptive name, okay? Okay, now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna save it. But if you just close this window, you're not gonna save it. You have to save it. Well, now take a look at this. It did not change, the data did not change because what I did was I created what? The filters that I created is a selectable. It's gonna be added over here as a column. It's gonna look as a column, okay? But it's not applied right away because this is what I did, right? I did not do the embedded filter. I did the selectable filter, right? Next thing is we want to fill in missing values, right? But how do we do it? Our income column has missing values, but I want to do this. I want to say if income is missing, then you want to say set it to the average income. Otherwise, you want to keep an income, right? If income is missing, I want to set it to average. Otherwise, I'm gonna keep it as is. So what you have to do is this. I'm gonna find my income column here. Click, and I'm gonna edit the expression. Here, what you need to say is, you have this if else constructs here. So this is an operator. It's a constructs, and construct is this one. If then else, right? Well, what is the condition? condition is this income, right? So I'll go here, income is missing, that's a condition, right? And then it's an expression what's gonna happen, and this is else. But what I'll do is I'll copy and paste because I already have it here, right? I already have it, but again, I cannot just do copy paste. I need to do this first, right? Okay, copy it. Now I'm gonna select all and I'm gonna do paste. Okay, good. And then always validate, it's valid. Also, what you have is, it's called prettify. So just gonna indent it for you, it's easier to read. Okay. Oh, and I'll leave the name the same. Then you have to click on OK to apply the change. So basically what I did was, if income is missing, I'm gonna set it to the column average. If income is not missing, I'm gonna keep it as is. So you see this was missing and it set it to an average, okay? This is what I did. I showed you how to handle missing values just by setting to column average. I have a set of videos and a playlist is posted in the classroom. And there is a video where I showed you how to do this in more details. Then there is another video where I show you how to handle the missing value for the categorical column. I showed you how to set it to the predefined value. So please watch those videos. The URL is posted in the classroom. Now, oops, here we look at that, right? Next thing, well, for right now, I'm following the slides, but we're gonna reach the point when I'm not gonna be following the slide. Now what we'll do is we're gonna create a new data exploration workbook, exploration workspace. This is the area, exploration workspace allows you to do some ad hoc data discoveries. Well, and then look, the point here is this: you have a data module. You use data module as a data source for data exploration, right? Or for the first assignment, you'll be using the data set for the source. But if you have a data module, you can make changes to it, right? And then if you reopen the exploration, the change will be there, okay? Now, there's multiple ways to create new exploration, but first we save it. Do you see this asterisk? It means that your last change was not saved. Okay, I save it and then I close it. To close it, I just expand this here and close. Okay, now you see this is recent. That appeared here and it appeared because we just had it recently open. So I can click here. This is called the action menu and I'm gonna do create exploration. I can do it here, or I can select it from the my content, or I can also do it from recent folder. Okay, now I'm gonna do create the exploration and let's see what happens. Well, here is a list of columns, right? It's a list of columns, but and also the filter that we created. That's a selectable filter. But if I did not use a descriptive name, there was no way in the world to know what it's doing. See this? It does not tell you how this filter was defined until you go to data module to see the definition, right? But here you just cannot see. You don't know. There's no way in the world to tell what it was if you don't use the descriptive name that tells you, okay? Well, similar, you have a different icon based on the data types. And similar, you can see the column properties, right? Well, here you can see those properties. Okay, now you can also add the calculations and etc. And I'll show you calculations later. But now let's see what is here, what is done here. First of all, based on analysis, right, it determines what I want to do with my data. What do I want to predict? In this case, it recommends I can go with total claim amount, monthly premium. There's also the possible target variables, right? Target is a column that we are predicting. You also may hear it, it's called like, you may also hear this terminology as dependent and independent variables, right? depending on the book you're looking at. But here, see, this is a target. This is what you want to predict. You want to predict total claim amount in this data. Every column in here is represented as a pin, and the line, the connecting line, means that there is a relationship between columns or between the column and the target. If you hover over with your mouse over the line, you're going to see the relationship strength. The thicker the line, the stronger is the relationships, okay? Well, see that this is 50%. Well, this is 52, something like that. Anything below 10%, it's omitted. I believe it's a 10%. Yeah. Anything that below that, it's going to be omitted. What else happens? Look, when I click on this, it's going to show me some initial visualizations. See this? That shows me initial visualizations. Do you see the problem here? What is it doing for the total claim amount? It's doing the sum, right? When it's trying to summarize it, it's doing the sum. But for your analysis, see this, you can do in here and go to the properties and the aggregation, I'm gonna do the average. Because when I'm looking at the summary, I want to see the average, right? So now when I do this, see this? This is the initial visualizations. It's trying to guess what I might be looking at, right? And if I want to add visualization to my actual workspace, I need to click on the add card, right? A card is a visualization that gets added to my workspace, okay? Now, so see this, another thing is this. Now I click here, right? I see it, but when I click on this, is I can do control and then click on another column. It's gonna show me different visualizations based on what I selected. Okay, based on what I have selected, it's gonna show me different visualizations. All right, I hope it makes sense. Now what we can do is we can do more. We can create more visualizations, right? Well, you can use this as a starting point, or you can create a brand new one, right? But if I use it as a starting point, suppose that I want to add this here, I can click on my card, and what is it gonna show me? Let's click on this. This is a visualization that I selected, right? Okay, so this is a visualization that I see. Here, data slot, it basically specifies the columns that it's using to build this visualization. For example, every bar is an employee status, and the lens is a claim amount, average claim amount for and this one is employment status. But if you see this asterisk, it means that you must specify the field in here. If you see this asterisk, it means that this is required. You cannot do visualization if you didn't specify the lens, or if you did not specify what your bar does, all right? That's data slot. Details, this is trying to give you insights, right? This is an explanation about this visualization. And here you can see what data is being visualized, right? This is data being visualized. And this is the whole data in data module, okay? This is being visualized. I'm gonna minimize it. What else do you see this? Oh, here you can see more insights, but in this case, there is nothing to do. Here, you can see related visualizations. When you click here, this is going to show you some related visualizations that you might be looking at, right? Like, for example, you may want to look at income by employment status. And if I'm interested in this, I'm just going to click and add the card, okay? So this is related visualizations, all right? And you can do see more and etc. Okay? Now this one here, it shows you can change the visualization type. This is a recommended visualization types, right, based on the data, but you can change what you need. Okay, so we talked about this. Well, what is this? This is just the selection tool, no worries about that. This is if you want to delete this card, right? Don't worry about pins, we're gonna talk about that later. All right, and if you click new, you can create a brand new visualization. Like I can do this, I can do a new card, and then I can do choose type, and I'm going to do this. I'm gonna do the spiral now. Okay, well, what does a spiral do? Let's check. Oh well, I still don't see anything because I must specify the target, right? Because if this is you see the asterisk, then you must specify the column. Well, this is a column, right? Take a look at this. You have the one driver, right? It's a single column that determines that's a predictor for the target, which is total claim amount, right? Do you remember we were looking at the diagram, right? We were looking at the relationship strengths. So here it's gonna select this. It's gonna show everything above 10%. If the relationship strength is below 10%, it's not gonna show it here. But here, see this each driver, it's represented as a pin. The closer the pin to the center, the stronger is the relationship. The color code, blue color code means that you're gonna see it's only one column, right? One column driver. Well, you can toggle it, what you want to see, what you don't want. So this is one column. One thing important, very important to note is that one driver, right, with the highest strength is going to be used as a first splitting column when you build the decision tree for this, to predict the total claim amount. We're going to build the decision tree. And the predictor that the highest predictive strength, right, a single driver that has the highest predictive strength is going to be your first splitting column, right? Remember this, it's a vehicle class in this case. Well, then here you can look at the two drivers, right? So that's two columns that drive the total claim amount, right? And then this one is a combination. This is it can be more than two, okay? Can be three, can be four, etc. And you see this in here, the combination has a stronger prediction, okay? Now we got that. Next thing is that, well, this is like a bull's eye, right? And if you highlight, it's going to tell you the predictive strengths. But we're going to look at another one, which is sort of kind of bull's eye, but it's a bull's eye sliced. And I already added it. So look, if I click here, this shows me the cards that I already have. And I already added this one. It's called driver analysis. So you have one driver and two drivers and three drivers, but you cannot toggle in here. But basically what happens is the closer this pin to the right, the stronger is the driver, right? The closer to the right, the stronger is the driver. What you can do is you can click on the pin here and you're going to see the visualization here. The visualization that you see is based on a data type of the columns that you're looking at, right? Then see this another one, and etc. And you can choose, you can add this to your cards if you like. Red color code, this is going to be when you have two drivers, right? So see this one, you've got one, right? You've got the total claim amount by number of policies. See, total claim now number of policies, and then the color code, right? The color code is based on the number of policies. This is a single. Oh, this is a two driver. See, when you click here, this is going to be the two driver. Okay. Then here, oh, it's by claim amount and by number of policies. So you see this? So you have the horizontal, you have the vertical, and then you have the color code. Okay. But if you have more than two, then this is what? This is going to be the decision tree. And then suppose that I actually want to have the decision tree. I want to edit. I can edit from here, or I can create it as a new visualization, okay? Now we're going to look at the decision tree. So here I'm giving a little bit in a different order from the slides. But here, this is my decision tree, right? Well, what am I actually doing here? Suppose that I know some information about the claim, about the vehicle, about the customer. I want to predict the total claim amount, right? So the color code, see the tree has the root node, and it keeps on splitting until it reaches the terminal node. And the color code of the terminal node, it's going to be an estimated value of the total claim amount, okay? How do we, what's actually happening? Well, let's collapse this, collapse. I can collapse my tree here. I want to collapse it because I want to show you from the beginning how it's being how it's being constructed, okay? So you can keep on, you have to collapse. And this is actually what you will have to do for the assignment. If you don't want to show all of it, you want to show just part of it, you can collapse. Okay, here, let's see what's going on. Do you remember when we looked at earlier, when we looked at the spiral diagram, the driver, the one driver that has the highest strength is going to be used as a force split, which is vehicle class, right? So here you have all data, right? If you hover it, it's going to show you how many records you have, right? So you have 9,136 records, and you see the average total claim amount and the standard deviation for all data. Now what you do, well, you look at the vehicle class, well, then you ask a question. Is it a two-door car or four-door car? If yes, we take this pass. And take a look at it. When I hover, this node represents 74% of my data. And I see the average total claim amount for this branch, right? Now, if I go in here, I'm going to see this is only 4% of my data. And this one is the rest, right? But somehow I want to look at the rules that represent most of my data. Okay, well, if it represents list of your data, it doesn't mean that you need to ignore it, but I want to look at this right now. Okay, so I have about 6,509 records, but am I done? Nope. I'm gonna click here. I'm gonna expand it more. Next thing, I'm asking about the employment. If the person is employed, or the person is medical leave or unemployed, right? And again, I can hover just to see, right, what percentage of data it represents, and the average claim amount of all data that falls into that node. All right, I'm gonna expand this. Then I'm gonna look at the monthly premium, and then I'm gonna look at the vehicle size, right? And then if I reach the end, yes, I did. See this, I selected this, and I can see the path from the root node to the leaf node. Basically what it means that the claims for this vehicle class by employed individual with this monthly premium for the medium large vehicle size. This is an estimate what my total claim amount is going to be. This is the color code, okay? And then you can also filter out part of the diagram. We want to see all nodes, or you want to see only top 5 or the bottom 5, okay? There is a limit on number of nodes. I believe it's 36. Then also another stopping criteria is that number of observations that can fall into each node. And I believe each node should have no less than 50. I believe it's 50, okay? So that determines where it splits. It's an algorithm that's defined behind the scene, and it's looking at the data, something called the information gain, yes, to determine which column to use as a split, okay? So this is, then you also have a different view. Let me minimize this. Collapse, well, okay, I collapsed it. Well, now you have a different view of this. This decision tree mostly focuses on a path, right? It's just the path and the splitting columns and etc. But the signboard diagram, it focuses on the percentage, on a set of the rules to which the rule, this is the percentage of data to which the rule applies, right? So here, do you remember this? On a tree diagram, this is the three vehicle classes, right? Three groups of vehicle classes. This is what I seen here in the sunburst. And I can also hover. It's gonna tell me the average claim amount and the number of records. This is vehicle class 2-door or 4-door car. And you can see this, the arc, right? The length of an arc shows the relative percentage, right? See here, this one is just luxury, right? This is luxury. But let's look at this one. 2-door cars, this is further breaks down by employment, unemployed, medical, and employed. And I'm only looking at the 2-door, 4-door car, right? I'm not looking at these two guys here. So that's why the arc is only covering this section, because I'm not looking at these two, okay? Now this is the employed. I can drill further, you know, I can click more, and then I get another column and another column, okay? But this allows me to see the fraction of data to which this rule applies. This one is just the rule as a text, okay? What I see here, this one total claim amount, this is a luxury car, see? And those are the effective due dates or employment status. And you have less than 1% of data. Oh, what happened? Sometimes it happens. I'm just gonna do reload. It did not happen before. Error. Okay. Well, okay. Oh, because I did not save it. I did not save it. So let's do it again. I'm gonna do create an exploration. No worries. No worries. See what happened? I did the refresh, but I did not save it. So now I'm gonna do differently. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go choose type, and I'm gonna go to this advanced analysis, and I'm gonna go do this decision tree, and I'm gonna select the total claim amount, right? That's what I was looking at. I was looking at the total claim amount. Okay, there we go. So we're good, right? I recovered it. Well, see this, you have the sunburst, right, that we looked at. And now we can also look at rules. But before I touch anything, let's do ourselves a favor. I'm gonna save it. And I'm gonna save it to my content. And I'm gonna do claims and weather exploration. Well, do you see this, what happened? You don't want this to happen when the assignment is due, okay? You want to save the work. See, now I'm gonna do save. Okay, I'm good now. Well, here it just describes the vehicle class, right? It's a profile, if you will, right? And then if your car falls under this, right? This is an average total claim amount that you're gonna expect, right? And etc. So I could also sort it descending. This tells me that if the vehicle class 2-door or 4-door and a person is employed and the monthly premium is under 94 and the vehicle size is mid-size or large, this is going to be the target claim amount. Well, do you see that? And this rule represents about 30% of my data, right? Also here is more and etc. Those are the rules. What else you could do is you could exclude the column from analysis. So you see the target, right? You can click here and you can do edit drivers. And when you edit drivers, you can specify what you don't want to see. Like for example, I have claim amount, right? I want to keep the total claim amount, but I want to delete the claim amount. So I'm searching here. And see this is claim amount. I'm not deleting it, but I'm actually removing it from analysis. I can uncheck it and I'm gonna click OK. Now it's gonna rebuild my rules and it's gonna rebuild my tree, right? For your assignment 3, you will have to do 2 models. Same column is a target, but you will need to modify here what you use as predictors, okay? You can use different set of columns as predictors. You have to change it here. Well, this is a tree, right? Well, now we also had the diagram, right? So see this is my, I can try to do this. I can click on related. Let's see if it gives me. Nope, it did not. So okay, I can just quickly create this. I can go here. Then I can do this new. Well, okay. This just opens this diagram. But I want to create a new card. So what I'll do, I just do new. I go single. I go choose type, and I can choose type for the spiral, right? And here I can just take the total claim amount, and I can drag and drop in the target. That's it. Well, do you see this? Well, I can do that. Now, total claim amount. I could also edit drivers in here, okay? I can edit the drivers here if I want to exclude them. So we got this. Next thing we need to look at assistant. What does it do? Look, this is assistant, right? So when I type type data, it's going to show me what data I have. So now I want to stop at the claims and weather data module. I click on it, and it's going to give me the properties for each column. See, this continuous, has outlier, low value, repetition, well, and etc. Okay, this gives me information on each column. If I want, and secretly, I ran this command, show source, claims and weather data module. It's going to show this, right? Then I can click on individual column and see the properties for that column. Take a look at this. I click secretly, see this? It ran in this command behind a scene. Show column monthly premium auto, all right? And I created a video on this assistant. Please watch it, okay? Now, and this is the other column that it thinks you can find interesting. And then you can also look at what influences, right? This is what influences. Then you can also click here. I click here and I get a set of the visualizations that I might be interested in. I can scroll through visualizations. See, like for example, I want to stop at this one. What I can do here is this. I can click on new, right? And then I can drag and drop this here. This is one way to add visualizations. You can look at this. And note this, in exploration, you have an assistant in two places. You have it here and you have it here. Okay? You have it in two places in the exploration. Okay? Now, see this, it's the same here. It shows you what you want to use for the bubble and what you want to use for the bubble size, okay? And when you click here, you can see the insights. See, this is the insights. Okay. Now you have this one. You can save this. So basically, to create visualization, oh, another one. I'm gonna do another one. I'm here. This is my data. I can just go ahead and I can drag and drop, and I'll see what happens. I drag and drop. This is gonna show me the average income. Do you remember when we were looking at the data module, we changed this to the average instead of total, and the change is applied here because what did I do to change this? Remember, I did not do what? I to change this, I changed it in the data module. I did not wait until on the data exploration to change it, right? Okay. Well, now let's get back to the slide, see what I did not show you, and I will show you. But there will be a set of slides that we skip. But here, this is the exploration interface general, right? I show you where you get set of cards. I showed you where you may select new one, where you may delete, and etc. I showed you that, right? Next one here. I showed you, you can add visualization just from the set, right? You can add it from related visualizations, okay? And you can also add comparison visualization. We will look at it later. But see this, I added this, right? You can do this. You see this, you go to to this, you just do this. You click on new, right? New, and then you just do choose type, and you can choose visualization type here. That's another way. Or you can simply also drag and drop the columns to the canvas. Okay. Next thing. Okay. We talked about the relationship diagram, right? We talked about the suggested starting points. When you click on this one pin, it's going to show you what you might be interested to look at, right? We talked about the assistant, but I have to show you a little bit more. Assistant stores the command history. So I open the assistant, see this? It's gonna store the history. So I can go back here and I can rerun the command that I ran before. I just click on this, okay, and then click enter. It's gonna run the command that I had before. What else you could do? You can clear, when you reset the assistant, all of this will disappear from here, okay? And what you will see, if you create another exploration, you're gonna see the same view of the assistant, okay? This is assistant. Remember, I showed you how to use, I'm showing you how to use that. And in here, you can check the column information, right? I showed you that. And then you can also do the visualization here, right? It's a specific column and you can visualize it. Exactly what I showed you. Then you can run what influences to see which columns influence, right? Okay. Next one. Well, this is just this shows the relationship, right? So you basically do that. See here, this is it's show total claim and amount coverage, right? So that's two columns, and it's showing the relationship between two columns. And it's here, you just edit as a visualization, right? You can do this. You can add any visualization in Assistant as your card, as a card, right? Next thing is a navigation path. So I have a state column, and within each state, I have the location type. And I want to build a visualization where I can drill down to location type inside the state. So what do I need to do here? Oops, no. Clicking home takes you to the welcome page. Is not what I want to do. I want to go back to my data exploration. I want to save it first. Okay. Now what we can do, this is the data, right? I need to create something called the navigation path. To see this, I click navigation path. And another thing to note is that this navigation path will be available only in this exploration workbook because I'm doing it in exploration workbook. Navigation path, what I want to do is I want to do this, use the state first. After the state, what am I using in here? Location code, okay. Well, I'm gonna do here, this one, location code, see? State location code, that's gonna be the navigation path. So I'll show you what it is. So here I'm showing the navigation path with two columns, but there is a video where I'm showing you navigation path with three columns, okay? So now create visualization, you can do, well, you can't, you have to select the visualization first, right? Well, I'm gonna choose new, single, choose type. I want to do let's try this, the tree map, okay? And what I want to do here is perhaps that I want to do the average income, right? Because for income, I already changed it to the average and it's here, right? I want to do the average income. But what I want to do is, first of all, I have to specify what I can use, what I want to use as a hierarchy. And in my case, I want to use this, right? So this is a hierarchy, state. Here, well, actually, that's not what I wanted to do. I want to do the number of customers because this is like kind of like showing the percentages, right? it's throwing the portion. So let's do this. Let's check. I'm going to do the customer. It's going to do the count. Size is going to be the number of customers, right? Customer, go. Okay. Well, this is a number of customers, right? Well, how do I know? Wait, let's see. Let's look at the summarize. What is it doing? It's doing count distinct. So it's a number of customers. It's not the number of claims, it's number of customers, okay? Each state is represented as a different color code. And hierarchy, where's the hierarchy? Look, when I click here, oops, right click, sorry. Unselect, I'm gonna right click. I'm gonna see this one here. See this? This is a drill down. And I drill down to what? To location. It's a location for that within that specific case. This is suburban, rural, urban. It's breaking down for me further. And if I wanted to, I can look at the visualized data. You have location code, right? You have the number of customers and you've got the state, right? Where does it come from? State it's in hierarchy, right? State allocation code is a hierarchy, and count is what we did in here, okay? This is a count. Well, does it make sense? I hope it does. Okay, so that's a hierarchy. And and also I can go back. To go back, I just do right click, right? And I do this back. That will take me back to this. Okay, now I'm gonna go back. I showed this hierarchy thing. But if you want it to be reusable, you have to create it where? In the data module, right? Okay, so this is a drill down example. Calculation is gonna be next. Calculation is an expression. So we use it on the values. We can use it on existing columns or an existing calculation. So it could be the summary measure, such as the overall average, or it could be the average related for the group by the group. For example, what's an average claim amount by the specific vehicle type, right? If you create the calculation in data module, it will be available everywhere where you use the data module as a data source. But if you create the calculation in exploration, it will be only visible inside that exploration, okay? Now we're gonna do, I'll show you examples of calculations, that's next. But take a look at this. I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna leave this, okay? I'm gonna leave this. And I'm going to go back to my data module, okay? So here, let's create a calculation. So here, this is my data. And I want to do, take a look at this. I have monthly, right? Monthly amount, monthly premium author, monthly, oh, okay. Well, this one is monthly premium author. And suppose that for my analysis, I need to know the annual premium amount, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do create calculation. There are two types of calculations, remember? Here we are creating an embedded calculation. It means that the calculated value will be added for each row. So I'm gonna click here. I'm gonna do the calculation, but I want to use the calculation editor instead of this. Here, let me delete this. This is what I want. I want to say monthly premium auto, and I'm gonna do it multiplied by 12, and I'm gonna call it annual premium auto, okay? Annual premium auto. I'm gonna delete that, and as always, you have to validate the expression. Well, this is good, right? Well, good. Now what I can do is I can go to, okay, because this is one calculation, okay? So far, so good, right? Next one, I can also create, for example, the I can do something like average. See this, like I can create average by categorical column. Like for example, I have an income, right? I can create a column that tracks average income by location, perhaps. right? So what I do is I go to the income, right? So let's see, let's find this. Find income, right? I can find income and I can add the calculation here. Add the calculation, and I'm gonna do the editor. And what I want to do is I can calculate the average. How do? I have to go to the functions, I go to the summaries, and I'm gonna do the average, and here is gonna be what? It's gonna be the column name, it's gonna be the income, right? Average income. Now, what I want to do is I can do for, and then if I want to do it by okay, by state code, right? I can just drag and drop here. So this is gonna be in a column. It's gonna it's gonna show the average income for the state code. Okay, let's validate this. It's working. Now I'm gonna do this average income by state, right? In average income by state. Okay, now what I'll do, I'm gonna do this. Okay, I saved it. So this is a calculation, right? Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do another type of calculation. This is standalone. Standalone calculation is not stored in every row. For example, I want to do the overall average income, right? So now I click on this here, not on any columns, but in here. And I'm gonna do new calculation. This is gonna be the standalone. So let's say I want to keep the average income calculation, right? Just an example, income. What I can do is this now. I can do, I have to go to my function, and it's gonna be in the summary. It's gonna be the average. And what average of what? I have to go to the fields, and I need to find my column, which is called income, right? I drag and drop it here. And well, this is gonna be the average income. So let's go ahead and do validate. Validate is working. This is a preview. Sometimes you can, sometimes you cannot. In this case, you can. Okay, so that will show you average income by the state, right? What is the zero? Well, because there are some missing values, right? Okay, well, so average income by the state. That's what it is. And I'm gonna be, oh, this is overall average income. Sorry, guys, this is overall average income, right? So this will be showing only one value, but let's see what's gonna happen. Average income, and I'm gonna do okay. It should only show, oh, okay, here, see this? Well, do you see this here? Average income, it's only added once. So this is a standalone calculation, okay? So you want to try, if your assignment says add several calculations, you can try to do the standalone, and you can try to do the embedded. Okay, next thing what we're gonna look at, it's a little bit more complex. It's called the data group. Data groups can be built for numeric values and for the categorical. I created a video that shows you in a detail for numeric and for categorical. There are two videos of this. But let's say what do you want to do? For example, you have the number of policies column. So I'm gonna do, I have it filtered, right? So I'm gonna unfilter it. Now it says something like monthly, right? Or number of something. Let's see. Okay, number of policies. This is a column, number of policies. I want to create the data group for it. So I click here, and I can do create data group. This is a numerical column, right? For numerical column, the groups are predefined. And also for each group, it sort of like assigns a bin number, okay? So here it says 8 or above, then between 6 and 8, 5 and 6, and etc. And It's just gonna place this into this bins. This is called the bin, right? You can have as many groups as you want, but this is a default, and then it shows also the ranges, right? The range between these values. See? Okay. Next thing is I can just create this to just go with the default. You can click create, and then you can also specify how you want to handle missing values if you need to. And what will this do? It will add two columns. First column is gonna be the new value, right? Which is the new value, and this one, and the next column is gonna be the bin number. So it's basically, if you saw it, right, it was showing you the bin, right? Well, let's see. It's gonna look like this. I try to do this thing screenshot. I try to capture it, but I made some typos, so that this one has to be bin 4. But you have 5 bins, right? And here you can just see the bin number into which it was placed. Okay. See this, like for example, less than 3, right? The actual value and the bin that it's placed. Okay. That's what it's showing you. And you also can create bins for the categorical. So this is a numeric. You can do it for categorical. Well, here it's called it's taking the policy, right? So I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna unfilter this, and I'm gonna go to the policy type. It's this one, policy type, I believe. Yes. So or let me see. No, it's doing actually this. It's doing this one, the policy. Now what I'll do, I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna do create data group. Unlike for the numerical, groups are not defined for categoric, so you have to define this. And I'm gonna create a new group, and I'm gonna call this corporate. On the left, you see all those values, possible values for this column. So I want to add this corporate to the corporate. So I highlighted here the value. I highlighted the correct group, and I'm just gonna click on the arrow to add this, right? So I'm gonna add this and add another one. Okay. Next one, I want to create another group, and I want to call it personal. Then what I'll do is I selected personal, and I can do this one. Oops. I can do this 3, right? Then what I can do is I can add another one called the special. So new group is going to be special. Okay, and for the special, I can select this, right? Arrow, select arrow, select arrow. Okay, so I've got the 3 groups. Then I can just do okay. But here, unlike for the numeric ones, the bin ID will not be stored. Okay, it's just gonna do this. It's just gonna do the value. It's not gonna show me the bin. Okay. Now I have to find it, because what it should do, it should return. Oh, here, see this? This is a policy group. Is it personal or corporate or the special? Okay. I did not write any code for this, but I just use the interface now. If it's more advanced, you can write the code if you like. Okay. Now, next thing, we did the data groups. Okay, now is the part where I'm gonna skip, because we did the spiral model, right? This was a little bit in different order. We did that. I showed you how to edit drivers, right? So you're changing which columns that you use for prediction. Driver analysis, we talked about that, right? So remember this, the closer this to the right, the closer the pin is to the right, the stronger is going to be the predictor, okay? And the chart type depends on a field types and the number of predictors. If there are 3 or more predictors, it's going to be decision tree, okay? And you've got the 2 drivers and you have a 1 driver, right? Well, here is just decision tree, just showing a visualization. Oh, I made a mistake before. The leaf node has to be 25 rows, at least 25 rows. So if you do the split, and if the leaf node has less than 25 rows, it merges 2 leaf nodes. You cannot have the leaf nodes with less than 25 rows, okay? And then to read the decision tree, you're gonna traverse from the right to left, right? You traverse the branches. And then the leaf node, the color code of the leaf node can be used to estimate the total claim amount. And remember, the number of nodes is limited to the 36, right? And each branch of the tree represents what? Decision rule, right? Here are decision rules. I created a video on the sunburst visualization and on the decision tree. So please watch that video. Okay. Now I'm gonna get into the few more things that are left. I'll get back to the exploration. Well, what is this? I'm still in the data module, right? I'm going to save this. I'm going to close this. I'm closing the data module. Now I'm gonna go to this data exploration, claims and weather exploration. Okay, so I'm gonna do the visualization now. And I want to do something like by gender, right? I want to do visualizations, and one, I'm gonna do it for males, and another one, I'm gonna do it for females. And the idea is I want to compare it side by side. So for example, here it's doing the claim amount by coverage and a policy type, right? But I don't have to do it this way, but let's do this. Let's go new, and single, and the visualization is gonna be the bar, right? It's a bar plot. Okay, now I have to say what I want to do for the bars, right? And what am I doing here? Oh, this is the coverage, right? So this data exploration, remember, now it's showing this embedded calculation and other stuff that we added, right? So I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna do visualization. I'm gonna do I forgot. Okay, I have to specify the fields. That's what I forgot to do. And this is a coverage. Okay, if I don't see the field, I can also search for it if I need to, okay? But I've almost found it. And the field, it's coverage type. I just saw it. So coverage, okay, here we go. I'm going to drag and drop. So my bar is gonna be the coverage, go. So you have to make sure that you highlight this, okay? Now it's gonna be the length, right? And what length am I doing it here? It's a total claim amount. Total claim amount is gonna be the length. So I have to find it in here, total claim amount, and I'm gonna go, it's gonna be my length, right? Now what I want to do, I want to say, okay, I want to add a filter, but the filter I want to add is this. I can do the gender. I want to do the gender. Where is that thing? Gender. I just saw it. Oh, here we go. I'll have to do now, it's gonna be local filters. Add gender. Now what I can do, I want to look at only females, and I'm gonna click OK. This one plot is for females. So now we'll do this. I'm gonna go in my visualizations, and I want to duplicate this plot. Now this is a copy. In the copy, we leave this as is, but for the filter, I want to change. For the filter, I want to change my gender to male, and I'm gonna click on OK. Well, see this. Well, I got this total claim amount by coverage, and that's for the males and for females. Next thing that I could do is I can select these two visualizations, then I can click here, and I can do compare. What this will do for me is it shows two visualizations side by side. And for example, I want to say, does the gender really have an impact on the total claim amount based on the coverage? Probably not. Well, you have to, if you hover here on one plot, it's going to show the same data point in another plot. See, in this case, I think gender, it shows that gender does not really matter. It's always the same. See, that's what it shows. But here you can basically compare two, right? Two values. You can perhaps choose a couple states and compare, etc. Okay. But please don't confuse the comparison visualization type here. Don't confuse it with comparison visualization. If I do new, right? If I do new, single, and then if I go choose type, those are the comparison visualization type. So for your assignment due next week, last question, you have to choose any of these and then explain what it shows, okay? Last question, you have to choose any of these, okay? Just make sure it's not the comparison visualizations that I just showed you. I want to make sure that there's no confusion. Okay. Now in here, this is how to save the exploration, right? And I showed you that. Okay, this is a link. That link takes you to the short videos playlist. That playlist will save you life in this course, in the rest of this course. Because I went over the basics and I showed you the more details, and also it might be easier to watch the small videos than to search this presentation. Well, you'll have to do both because it's not possible to create a video for everything. Well, it's possible, but it's going to take longer. I chose to prioritize, if you will, right? And to put together some examples, right? So that's, I want you to watch it. Then there are 3 videos that will help you with assignment 3. There is a video on, it shows a spiral model. There is one on the sunburst, and there is one on the decision rules. So please watch those. Especially decision trees and drivers. That part will help you with assignment 3. And there is a lot of stuff here for assignment 2. We covered the data pre-processing, right? So that part is for assignment 2, where you'll be analyzing the data to estimate the house value, right? And there's some missing data in the data set. You will have to take a look at that, and etc. Okay. Well, remember, you can have a numeric column. For numeric, you can set it to the column average, right? And for the categorical, you can use a predefined value like unknown, right? Unknown could be if the value is missing, set it to unknown. And if you watch the video, I'm showing you how to do that. Okay. Well, so this is I usually show most stuff. Not sure how I finished too quick today. Usually this demo is 2 hours. So oh, another thing is that when you look at the decision tree, you want to kind of like expand collapse, but if it's too big, you're gonna see this little mini map, and it just shows you where you are looking at. Okay, so basically decision tree defines set of rules, but then when you have a new claim, when you have a new claim, what we do, we take the claim data and we traverse the tree to estimate the total claim amount. See, when I have the brand new claim, totally new, right? And I know the vehicle class, I know what type of vehicle is that, and etc. I can take my tree and I traverse it. And the terminal node where I end up gonna give me the estimate of what the total claim amount is, okay? And for your second assignment, you're gonna be looking, it's a house value, it's a target variable, it's a gift. I'm giving you that. But if you import the data set, you're gonna see it. It's gonna show you what suggested target variable is, right? So for assignment 2, that's gonna be the housing data. Assignment 3, you have the choice. But please, I'm showing you something. You want to do after this session, go ahead and check if you can access Cognos Analytics. Then check if you go to this team content, make sure that you see this, because there are two things going on. First thing is your access to Cognos Analytics, right? And just you can log in. Another thing, to give you access to the team content, I had to create a group and add you to that group. See, this here is controlled by group membership. So if somehow you see nothing in the team content, it means that somehow your name might not be, a user might not be in the group. So I have to do the change, I have to edit. It's easy, it's a no-brainer for me. It's like a couple of minutes fix, but you need to submit the case. I need to know that there is a problem so we can fix it, right? And you don't want to wait until the work is due to fix it. I would say watch this recording again, watch the video, and then start working on assignment as soon as you can. Because if you run into technical problem, you want to allow yourself some time, and you want to allow me time too to look at it. But usually it's quick fix. But sometimes the error is on the student end. You might be having a pop-up blocker or something in a browser that checks that thinks that the site is not secure and blocks it. So you would have to either turn off the blocker or add the site, VDI site, as to the safe list, okay? Sometimes the error is on the student's end, not anything that was missed when accounts were created. And the accounts were created last weekend, and they were based on the export from the learning management system for your sessions, right? There are 2 sessions that are active right now, and the export was taken to create your account, okay? That's what was done. If you were registered in a course as of this weekend, your account was created. If you took this course before, if you're repeating it, you're gonna use your existing account. I did not deactivate it. It's there. It still should be active. Okay. I know there are a couple people who are repeating the course. Okay, let's see. Well, credentials are invalid. Okay, you have to clear the browser cache. Ellen, you have to clear the browser cache. That's what it is. And also, what did you attempt? How did you attempt to log in? You talking to the VDI? You attempted to log into VDI or to Cognos? Because when you attempt to sign in to VDI, if you're already logged in another browser tab to the learning management, it's supposed to be, it's supposed to read, it's supposed to interpret your credentials from learning management. It's a single sign-on, okay? Oh, okay. Well, but okay. Oh, no. Password is not, when you log into VGA, right? If you're not logged into Leo, you use your email. To get to the VGA, you have to log into VGA, you use the email and your UMGC password. But in order to log into Cognos, you are using the password is welcome. Well, let me see. Let's go back to the slides. The password is this one. This is okay. This is for Cognos only. Your university name, and this is a password. Okay. You're not using your UMGC password at this stage. You're using this welcome password. To get into the VGI, it's your okay. To get into VGI, that's your Leo credentials, and there's also the site where it's my UMGC. the site where you can get your transcript, when you can get your grades. It's the same one, right? But if you logged into Leo, in another tab, you just put vdi.umgc.edu and you can be in there. It's a single sign-on, okay? But this is for Cognos. Well, this is how I figured out. I took the word welcome and I added the exclamation point. Oh, that works. Excellent, outstanding. And now take a screenshot so you already have an answer to your first question, okay? So here, this is welcome. But because number 3 is above letter E on the keyboard, I just threw it in there. You have to have at least one number, but how can I make it so that it's easy for students to remember? I take the letter E and number 3 on the keyboard is right above it. So I just replace letter E with number 3, that's it, right? So this is the same password and you cannot change password. But no worries, there are no money on this account. There is no information such as the social security or credit card. There's nothing like that. No driver license, anything like that, okay? So after this session, or after you watch the recording, if you could not attend, please go ahead and test. And also, you may want to mark your calendar, because in about few weeks from today, right, we're gonna have another session. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's gonna be on October 5th. It's going to be our second session, and in that session, we're gonna basically start where we stopped. We're gonna use the same data, but we're gonna do the dashboard and the stories, right? Okay, and yes, you're gonna get the copy of the PowerPoint slides, of course, and you're gonna get the link to recording. Because on the slides, I basically put a lot of notes, because as I was preparing for this, I was taking notes, and then while not to give you the notes, right? You can have all those notes as a copy. That way it's gonna be easier. And also, if you follow along, if you want to, when you watch the recording, some of you learn by following along. So if you go to the team content, here it is, and this is where I put through this data. This is claims and weather, okay? Oh, you found insurance. Oh, excellent, excellent. You found the insurance, excellent. Well, you have to see, well, this team content, right? If you don't see this anything in this team content, then I need to add you to the group. And this is very easy. So I created your account last weekend, and I added you to the group. But once in a while, things happen, you know. It's technology. Once in a while, I need to re-add the student. Okay, well, usually it happens maybe 1 out of 30 students. Depends. I'm getting better at it each year. Okay. Okay. Oh, which link? Oh, the login link. Well, the login link, you have to go to that. Well, this is this one here. It's a VDI. Okay. Yes, this one. And this link, it's also I'm giving it to you in the slides here. This is a link, okay? This is a link. This is where you need to go. It's on the slide. But this is a single sign-on. So if you are already logged in another tab, right? It's not gonna ask you for your username and password. But if not, it's gonna ask you for the university. And I don't know how it works for the students, but for me, when I have to enter my credentials, I also need to, there is also a text message on a phone with something that I need to do. It's like a number that I need to enter, something like that. So for faculty, it's a second factor authentication. It's a 2-factor authentication for the faculty, okay? It sends a message to in the cell phone, and I need to do something. That's for the faculty. I don't know how it works for students. Probably not, right? Probably you're not getting it. For faculty, it's a 2-factor authentication, and it remembers kind of if I entered, right. I can choose to be okay for 14 days. Every 14 days, I have to go onto my phone and do something. Okay. So it's for faculty, it's a 2-factor authentication. For you, you just regularly log in, and that's it, you know. Like if I was going to go to that site in another browser, it would ask me more information. Okay. So now on the Cognos shortcut, and then you got that password. I wanted to make sure, okay? Yes, that's a link. And this is not, I know it says IBM, but this is hosted by UMGC. So they manage the access to Citrix, but I manage all your user accounts. Anything like your user account, the files that you see, all this data, that part, I'm doing it. Okay. And then also for your last assignment, which is going to be the group assignment, I will be configuring the group folders. I'll do that. So no worries, I'll take care of this. So, okay. So do we have more questions? I would like to see questions. I like students who ask questions. And you're going to simulate run a program as well. Okay. So you got that. You're going to get the slides. You're going to get the recording, but I don't want to scare you, but you may need to watch some of it, part of it more than once. Okay. Now, and also please tell your classmates to check their access. Do not wait until the last minute. Well, usually I respond to tickets quickly. Access is a top priority, but still you want to check as soon as you can. Okay. So we need to know, make sure it works. Okay. And one thing that I can also see is I can see the date of your last login. So if any of you have not accessed the system for more than a week, unfortunately, I need to tell your professor, okay? So I hope we don't get there, but I need to do that, okay? So are we all set? Any more questions? No? Do we have more questions? Now is a good time to ask questions if you have them. If not, then I'm gonna end this recording. Oh, I have something in the chat. It's loading forever. Well, okay. Okay. Well, what's gonna happen is the first time when you log in to Cognos Analytics, it's gonna try to build your profile. Okay, that's why. But you also have to look at what else is running on your PC. That matters. But what is loading forever, VDI or Cognos? Cognos, because the first time it's gonna try to build your profile. So it might take a couple of minutes. Oh, VDI. Well, that's not good. Try clearing the browser cache, okay? Also check what browser you're using. Try different browser, okay? You want to do that. You want to try different browser, or you want to clear the browser cache, okay? Make sure you do that. But if that still does not work, then you want to submit the ticket, and you'll be troubleshooting with TA, okay? Your TA, his name is Abel. He's usually good at responding also, okay? Okay, anything else? Any other questions? Anything else I can help you with? Oh, you're in already, excellent. And also, well, keep in mind for the Cognos, keep in mind that the first time you first log in, it's building your profile. So it could take a minute, okay? No, that's good, very good, we all set, yeah? So make sure everybody is good, yeah? So if we're all set, then I'm gonna stop the recording, and I'm gonna end this session. And I want to thank you all, and I'll see you in 4 weeks for the second session. Stop the recording. Okay, and okay, most welcome.